and welcome back to another episode of The Doctor's Inn. I'm your doctor, C.G. Weinberg, and today we are getting undoctorly. We are talking about one of my favorite books growing up. This is kids fiction that everyone should read, adults included. I mentioned this on my very first longer video. This book is very dear to me. It is very nostalgic. It is not high literature whatsoever, but it is just fun. It's wholesome. Yeah, to me, it's mashed potatoes and gravy. So, full of carbs and fats, and really good next to the fireplace with a cup of coffee, cup of tea, pipe in hand if you're an adult, hot cocoa if you're a kid, and just wrapping up in a blanket and enjoying a day of reading. This is one of those types of books. Is it going to change your life? Probably not. Hopefully not. Maybe. I don't know. Depends on what your life is. But it is just good old fun. Now, this is my copy of it, My Side of the Mountain by Jean Craighead George. I got this book when I was young. As you can tell by the front cover, part of it's missing. It literally just fell off in my bag, which is quite sad. Back cover also torn. It's old. Like you can even see the agedness of the pages. Like, it's old. It even smells weirdly. It smells like tobacco. I didn't think it, maybe it was sitting underneath my pipe case. It smells like a nice Cavendish tobacco, which is just kind of nice. But like, that's the kind of book that you want to fall asleep in. Like old books, there's something just pleasant about the musty smell that just, to me, makes you feel warm and cozy inside. So this is that kind of book for me. So this book is about Sam Gribley. Lived in New York. Like in the book, he lived in New York, and then ran away to the Catskills Mountain to his family farm that had long been abandoned. And this is about his adventure of basically running away from home. His mom and dad lived in the city. They had a bunch of kids. I actually don't remember how many kids they had, but too many to fit in their apartment. And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go live in the woods. I'm gonna live around here. Peace out. I might come back later. He may have given a timeline, I don't remember. It's been a while since I've read this one closely. But yeah, so he went up to his family farm. That was basically just like a knee-high wall, thinking of Nehemiah, and lived out there. So yeah, some of his exploits is he found a really huge tree that was dead inside. And so he decided to start hollowing it out. And then he burned it out. So he would catch the center on fire, blow it out, and then carve out the ashes, and basically made his house inside of a tree. Talks about him finding his bird, Frightful, who is a peregrine falcon. So peregrine falcons like to make their nests way up on cliff sides. And so he knew he wanted one, knew they were around, because he could see it. The crossbow in the sky, I believe is what it's referred to. So he climbs the side of this cliff, finds the nest, and there's three little birds, three little chicks. And he's like, well, I want one of these. And so he grabs it, puts it in his coat, and starts making his way down. And halfway down, the mom notices that he's there and starts dive bombing him on the side of the cliff. He gets down, runs away, and gets the bird. And it's scared of everything, so he names it Frightful. And he talks about raising Frightful. Talks about how to fish and make his own fishing hooks. Talks about winter. He finds a deer that another hunter killed because he doesn't have a gun, because he's like 12. Actually, I don't remember how old he is. Yeah, doesn't have a back. I don't remember. I think he's around 12 though. But a hunter shoots a deer and he can't find it, and he finds the deer, so he takes it and makes his first pair of pants. Frightful learns how to catch, so he learns how to hunt with Frightful, so falconry. Which totally fascinated me as a kid. I mean, if you don't like peregrine falcons, there's something wrong with you. But like thing after thing after thing of just him surviving out in the woods, that to me as a young kid, this is like, I so want to do this. And I mean, like even the own author, Jean talks about how she ran away as a kid, and then she's not surprised when her daughter grows up, Twig. Yes, she named her daughter Twig. When Twig runs away to the woods as well. I vividly remember my brother and I packing up backpacks full of snacks. The only snack I remember is a bag of like mini marshmallows, which has like 0 nutritional value. And going out and spending the day in the woods saying we're gonna sleep overnight, but we got cold and chickened out and came inside. But like, what kind of boy doesn't want, what kind of kid doesn't want to run away at some point in time? The fascination of going and living in nature, I think is innate within most humans. I think it should be innate within most humans. Humans should be living close enough to the woods to want that wilderness, to want to go conquer something like the outdoors. I think it's really good for man to do that. So this is a story of a young boy doing that, living out that desire, and like, I think it's really good for young people to at least live vicariously for a little while in a book. So yeah, this is one of those books. So yeah, but if you're going to let your young person have this book, I think it is wise to have a few things in mind when you let them go do it. I think you should. I think you should give this to young people. Like my son, who's in 2nd grade, has read it. He is still learning to comprehend everything he reads. So I think he could read all the words. I don't think he knows what all the words meant. But like it's clean, it's good, whatnot. I'll probably make him reread it next year in 3rd grade, or maybe a year after in 4th, and then talk to him about it. Because there's some worldview things that I think should be talked through in this book. So a big one I think is actually naturalism. So Jean Craig George is a naturalist. She loves nature way more than any city. You can really see it on its face. If you read her book, there's a tarantula in my purse, along with 172 other animals. Or pets, I think it says pets. And that book is actually an autobiography about her raising her kids after her divorce, and all the pets they had. And really, it's a book about raising kids with pets. So it really focuses on the pets and not the divorce, not the kids, but the pets. And they had, the cover says 173, 172 plus the tarantula. Like, they had a lot of animals growing up, and she loved them all and actually had the credentials to raise them and take care of them and release them back. So she is a naturalist, like Jack London. So there is a level of, she wouldn't put it this way, but a worship of nature is the way I would put it in her writing. She elevates nature above what I think she should. And you can really see it if you follow this book series, the 3rd book and beyond. So you have My Side Mountain, which is about Sam. The Other Side of the Mountain, which is about Sam and his sister and losing Frightful. And then the 3rd one is Frightful's Mountain, which is actually about Frightful going back into the wild. And you see a lot of the environmental impact things coming up. And then there's actually a bunch of them that, with Frightful going on, and Frightful's kids even. So she's written a lot of books about this storyline that I didn't even know about growing up. I had the first 2, but not any of the other ones, where her naturalism and environmentalism really comes out. So the whole environmental impact of DDT happening. Like, she writes about that from the perspective of the falcon, which is really insightful. But it's also problematic if you don't actually talk about it with your kids, because the worship of nature is so prevalent in our society today. So, I mean, Bill Gates is massively into this one. We should live off factory-fed meat because cow farts are going to ruin the ozone. No, they're not. In fact, taking out cows is going to ruin the ozone. If you just reference, I'll clip this video below, what a friend told me about. I'm blanking on his name. The video will be linked below. About how bovine, so any kind of domesticated beast of labor, so cows, oxen is just domesticated, elephants, camels, all those types of animals actually are needed to preserve plains. Like, if you take away the bovine, the plains will turn to desert, because their natural eating, pooping, stamping down is what makes the soil viable. And if you take them away, soil turns to desert. And the video actually gives you proof of that. So I'll link below if you're curious about that. But like the guy in the movie, the clip, is a naturalist. But like the whole mainstream naturalists, environmentalists, they're just wrong. The whole green movement is actually just wrong. They don't understand how the world works. And you'll see inklings of this with Gene Craig and George's writing. A really good book also on it for adults would be The Overstory. I heard about that one from the guy who wrote The 4-Hour Work Week, Timothy Ferriss. Ironically, he said that Hugh Jackman is the one that recommended it to him. In an email, I follow I get his 1-week email. So every Friday he sends out a little thing about what he recommends. And it was a couple years ago when he recommended The Overstory. I'll link that one below too, if you're interested. Really good take to understand the mindset of these people. I mean, they are actually just, the science behind it is actually, and The Overstory is actually right. The science behind the environmental movement is actually just wrong. Like there is a symbiotic relationship between nature. It's really fascinating to see. And it is, I actually do believe it's true. Like how when one tree is attacked by ants, it'll send off a pheromone to alert the forest of these ants attacking. And then the other trees like this one will actually build an enzyme to stop the ants from destroying the tree. Like, what? That's amazing. The way you got made that. But talking through the naturalist thing is actually important for young people so they get a right respect for nature. Man is put on this earth to take dominion of the nature, which means actually to steward it, to build it up, to make it better, to make it excel, not to abuse it. So there's been massive abuses in the past, massive dereliction in taking dominion over it, taking shepherding principles over it. That has been a problem. So building up a right relationship with nature is important with young people. So they actually know how man fits into the picture, which is actually to rule and make it better. It's not for man to serve nature, it's for nature to serve man for the betterment of both. Man is doing his job right. Everyone does better. So that must be talked about with young people. Another thing would be isolation. So Sam is out there on his own and is completely happy for like most of the time. He does have a friend come by. I believe he's a school teacher, Bando. He comes up, Sam meets him because he hikes up there to fish. Bando hikes up there to fish. And Sam stumbles upon him. It's like, is this guy gonna be nice? Is he gonna be mean? What am I gonna do here? And it ends up being a really good friend. And will come up and bring him supplies and treats and whatnot. And just come spend the day with him. Or I think in later books he actually spends like time with him. He brings like his wife up. So Bando becomes a good friend. But for the most part, Sam is alone. And that's never talked about. Now God says that it is not good for man to be alone in Genesis 3, I want to say. Man is not made for isolation. Man is made for communion. Now there's time for man to go away, absolutely. Men should isolate to work for a time and then come back. So like go to work for the day and come back at night, day and night. Guys are very much 24-hour beings. So the isolation community of a man should be roughly a 24-hour period. That is good for a man to do. Go get work done, come back and relax with the family. Go get work done, come get back. So isolation is necessary, but it's not the goal. Man needs people around him. He needs people to depend on him. Like a man is only most productive when he actually has a family to provide for. Men without families are unproductive. They're wasteful. All over. I have yet to see a man with a good relationship with work who's not married. Now, there are successful people who have lots of money who are single. Absolutely. And most of them do not have good relationships. They're not mentally stable. I mean, there are some people that are gifted with singleness, absolutely. The Apostle Paul was one of them. He actually says, I wish you would all be single like me to focus on the ministry. So there is that level of things. But I mean, he wasn't alone. He was doing it to help everyone. He was always with people. But I don't know of a single case of a man or woman, anyone, living by themselves and being as productive as they could be. For one thing, a main productive part of humanity is children. A guy on his own can't actually make kids. I mean, they can do it at wedlock. You can go have a one-night stand, make a kid, go away, and then send money to them, I guess. But that kid is not getting the culture of knowing how to work in society without a father. Father hunger is a real thing. But all this to say, man needs community. Isolation is actually wrong. It's harmful. No one does better on their own for their life. So that is something that she gets wrong, and it's not addressed, and it should be talked through. So yeah, don't be alone. Another part of this book is the escapism that it breeds. So like everyone wants to run away to the woods and be on their own, which is a fine dream, but it's not a reality. So if someone starts to taste of this book and just keeps rereading, laughs through it, they're probably trying to escape from the world they're in. I can definitely see this with someone living in a city, the apartment life for kids, escaping into this book because they don't know what a wood is. That is actually wrong, and that's something for parents to pay attention to when they're young people. Like, your kids should know how to raise animals beyond dog and cat. Like, chickens are good for you. Get a goat if you can, cow, something, rabbits. Do something that gets your kids dirty and have them raise it. Have them raise it and kill it. That'd be really good. Deal with the poop. Poop is gross. Have your kids deal with poop. If you can't do that, get them in the woods. Take them fishing. Like just this morning, I went fishing with my son, and we got skunked again. I am not a great fisherman. I want to get better, to teach my son how to get better. We again didn't catch anything, but I mean, we got dirty in the process. We were cold, we were wet. It was kind of miserable, but like, my son loved it. And he's learning now, he's 8, to not fuss through the pain, which is a great thing. So like, get them cold, wet, and tired, and have them, and you also cold, wet, and tired, and show them how to enjoy that process. Show them the love and the effort that it takes to be someone who's not going to merely fold under the weight of wet and cold. There's a reward even in the activity of fishing or hunting that you miss out if you just buy your fish from the supermarket. So I'm going to raise all my boys in particular, and my girls are going to come do it with me. Sometimes I will take my boys more in the woods than my girls, of learning to live close to nature and understand it. So I want them to read this book to inspire them to get outside, and then I need to take them outside. So parents, take your kids outside. Get their hands dirty by following your example of you getting your hands dirty. Take them fishing, learn how to hunt, go pick up skills to get them closer to the gifts that God has given us, because they are glorious. Like, there is actually skill involved in fishing. I have not learned it yet. I've learned lots of things. I can't find the fish in the water because I can't see it. I probably actually just need to like focus on one type of fish and learn and whatnot, but I'm not very good at that yet. I want to catch everything, and so I'm not being very focused on how I learn how to do this. But help your kids here. Give them the tools to know about nature, and learn to love it, because it is a gift from God. So yeah, this book I would definitely give to any wild at heart kid, and also any hermit kid, which basically covers all kids. So if your kid's going to be isolated by themselves, give it to them and make them go outside with you. If your kid is wild and whatnot, give this to them to learn the isolation and calm down, and take them to the woods and help them be quiet in order to find a squirrel. Because if you're being loud and talking like my son likes to do, you're not going to find a squirrel. Who knows, maybe my son is scaring all the fish away. But try to awaken the wonder in your kids of God's creation. It is glorious. It's amazing. I've taught biology several times, and every time I teach it, I get more and more amazed with the world that God has made for us. And I want to share it with my kids, and I think you should share it with yours. This is actually a good book to awaken that. Again, I have some filters. Talk to them. but like you're supposed to raise your kids anyway. So give them a book that they need to talk through, and then you read it, and then have them read it and talk through it with them. That's called parenting. So give this to your kids, read it yourselves, read it to them even, it's fun. But yeah, here's one that I enjoyed. I am thankful that my mother gave this to me, and I am now giving it to you to go and share this with you and your children. So again, if you like this, give it a like. Comment below if you have a book you want me to cover. I like to read. Tell me something I should read. If you want to know when my next video releases, hit the subscribe button. And if you have a parent that has a kid that you think would benefit from this book, share this video to them, spread the word. Jean Craig George, this is one of her books that I would highly recommend. But yeah, and with that, the doctor is out.